So we're going to talk about the fundamental principle of counting today and touch on permutations and combinations. Okay, fundamental principle of counting, a method for counting the number of outcomes of a probabilistic situation. So when we're trying to find the probability of something, we have to find the chances of it happening out of the total number of outcomes. Okay, the counting principle helps us with that, finding the total number of outcomes, the bottom number of the fraction. Often when the order of the outcome matters. And we'll talk about when does order matter, when does order not matter. First real basic thing that we're going to touch on is using a tree diagram to count things. I'm buying a potted flower for my mother's birthday. The florist has 4 possible flowers: rose, tulip, daisy, lily, and 3 possible pots: red, brown, and blue. How many possible combinations of flowers and pots could I make? How many choices do I have? Okay, so this is the first step to find the probability of getting, say, well, if it was a random, if I was choosing randomly, what would be the probability of getting, say, a tulip in a red pot? First of all, you have to know how many of these choices are, how many choices there are total. How many possible combinations are there? Okay, so we'll start with the types of flowers, and then for each type of flower I have 3 pot choices. I could have a red pot, a brown pot, or a blue pot. So this tree diagram shows that I could have a rose in a red pot, a rose in a brown pot, a rose in a blue pot, tulip in a red pot, tulip in a brown pot, tulip in a blue pot, etc. And all along the bottom, if you count, that's how many possible outcomes there are. Or you could say 3 times 4. 3 possible pots, 4 possible flowers. Number of possible outcomes is 12. So if I said, what would be the probability of randomly selecting one and getting a tulip in a red pot? The probability would be 1 out of 12, or 1/12. Okay, what I want you to do here is pause the video and try it yourself. You've won a contest at a car dealership and you're going to receive a brand new car. You could get a 4-cylinder engine or a 6-cylinder engine, and the car could be red, blue, white, or black. How many possible engine and color combinations are there? How many possible outcomes? Use a tree diagram to figure it out. Jot down a tree diagram in your notes or on your paper. Come back, unpause the video, and find out how you did. Okay, so there's a possible tree diagram: red, blue, white, black. You could have a red 4-cylinder, or a red 6-cylinder, blue 4-cylinder, blue 6-cylinder, etc. Okay, you could have also put this 2 cylinders across the top, and then each cylinder had 4 branches coming from it. So you could have done it the other way. Either way, you're going to get 8 different combinations. 4 times 2. 4 colors, 2 combinations. So if I won a car, what would be the probability that I would get a blue 6-cylinder car? The probability would be 1 out of 8. Okay? Now, we're going to talk about order does matter, order does not matter. Okay? Combinations are for groups. We're grouping things. Order does not matter. And I will go more into depth about this in a second. Permutations are for lists. Order does matter. Phone numbers in the U.S. are composed of a 3-digit area code followed by 7 digits. Obviously, that would be a permutation. It matters what order the digits are in. License plates in some states are made up of 3 letters followed by a 3-digit number. Again, it matters the order. Postal zip codes are made up of 5 digits and another 4 digits are often added. To win the lottery in one state, you need to select the correct 5 numbers from all possible choices of 5 numbers out of 56. How likely is it that you could win the lottery? Are there enough phone numbers for the dramatic increase in cell phones, tablets, and e-readers for books, many of which use unseen phone numbers to download information? And Jay wants to know the probability of randomly getting J on his license plate. Okay. Imagine trying to make a tree diagram for these situations. What would be the problem? What would be the issue with making a tree diagram? The issue would be the sample spaces for these questions are very large. You would need a tree diagram with 3 or 4 branches, branching 2 or 3 times. That's messy enough, but you might need a tree diagram with hundreds or thousands of branches, branching hundreds of thousands of times. There's no way. You need a way to count all the possibilities without having to draw a complete diagram. So we're going to talk about some ways to account for all possibilities so that you can find probabilities like this without having to make a complete list or drawing a complete tree diagram. Okay, these are the questions you need to keep in mind. What decisions are we making when we make a systematic list? How many decisions do we need to make? How many ways are there to make each decision? How can we use the patterns in a tree diagram to find the total number of branches? I want you to take a second and just write those questions down because you need to keep those in mind throughout our whole lesson. Nick came across the following problem. If a 4-digit number is randomly selected from all of the 4-digit numbers that use the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, with repeated digits allowed, what is the probability that the selected number is 2763? It's a permutation. That means 2763 is not the same as 2736. Order matters. Nick knew that he had to figure out how many numbers were possible in order to know the size of his sample space. Nick started to make a systematic list of the possibilities, but after the first few he gave up. Why was it difficult for him to try to create a list of all the possibilities? Obviously, the list would be too long. He wouldn't physically really be able to do it in a reasonable amount of time. Next, he started a tree diagram. What problem did he encounter with the tree diagram? Like we talked about before, the diagram would be impossibly large. There would be too many branches to deal with to actually get down on paper. He decided he needed a shortcut strategy for organizing this problem, otherwise he was going to be up all night. He started by asking himself, how many decisions, remember these are our essential questions, how many decisions about the digits do I need to make? Think about how many decisions he needs to make and how many choices he has for each decision. Pause the video, jot down your thoughts. Nick has to make a decision about each digit. So since it's a 4-digit number, he needs to make 4 different decisions. And for each decision, he has 7 possible choices because there's 7 possibilities that could be in there for each digit. Audrey was at her house working on the same problem, and she was thinking of a tree diagram. And she asked herself, how many branch points will this tree have? How many branches at each point? What are the answers to these questions? Pause the video and jot that down. How are Audrey's questions about the tree related to the questions Nick was asking? There are 4 branch points. There are 7 branches at each point. This is exactly like what Nick was thinking. They're both about the same information. 4 different digits, 7 possibilities. At the same moment, they text messaged each other that they were stuck. When they talked, they realized that they were on the same track. Problem asks for 4-digit numbers, so there were 4 decisions. Simultaneously, they said we need a decision chart, and they wrote the following on their papers. How many choices are there for each decision? We already said 7 choices. How many 4-digit numbers are there? So there are 7 possible choices for the first digit. Now, they are allowed to repeat the numbers. So there are also 7 possible choices for their second decision. 7 for the third and 7 for the third and 7 for the fourth. Pause the video, see if you can figure out how many 4-digit numbers there are possible here. There are 7 possible choices for each decision. So there are 7 to the 4th power, or 2,401 possible combinations. What is the probability that the randomly selected number will be 2,763? Pause the video and jot down your answer to that. Okay, if there are 2,401 possible outcomes, the probability of getting 2,763 is 1 out of 2,401, which is about 0.04%. That was a permutation where repetition was allowed. You can repeat the number. So the number could have been 5555, and it would have been fine. Now we're going to talk about permutations with no repetitions. We have 5 people, Adam, Brittany, Caleb, Dimitri, and Aaron. We want to seat them in 5 different positions or chairs. Why is there no repetition in this scenario? There's no repetition in this scenario because obviously we're not sitting Adam in chair number 1 and Adam in chair number 3. He can't be in 2 chairs at once. So we can't repeat Adam. We can't repeat Brittany. Each one is only used once. So, in the first case, there are 5 different people that could sit in that first seat. Now we're going to choose one and put them in that first seat. What's left over? We have 4 people left over. Any of those 4 people could sit in the second seat. Once we've chosen that person, we still have 3 left over that need to be in seats. So we have 3 possible choices for the third seat. Now we've seated 3 people. We still have 2 more people left to seat. So there are 2 possible people that could be sitting in seat 4. And now we only have 1 person left to put in seat 5. So the number of permutations, 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. That is the same as saying 5 factorial. Okay, so when I have a permutation like this, with no repetition allowed, we use n factorial. The number of possible is n. n factorial is the formula to use. I'm going to stop the video here because we are almost to the 15-minute mark. And I'm going to pick up in the next video where we left off here with permutations. And then we're going to go on and discuss combinations in that video. So we're going to discuss permutations some more, and then we're going to discuss combinations.